The kitchen of Ember and Ash exhales control. At 11:47 p.m. on a late October night, Nala Clark moves through her restaurant's industrial space like a conductor commanding an orchestra she built herself. Her hands, brown, precise, scarred from years of mastering fire, work through inventory with the rhythm of someone who understands that precision is survival. The restaurant closed 2 hours ago. Her staff left at 10:45. Now she's alone. Then, the sound that doesn't belong. A car crashes into the alley behind Ember and Ash. Not a gentle collision, the kind of impact that breaks things. Metal screaming against concrete. Nala's knife stops mid-tap. She doesn't move. Her mind splits, a skill she's learned. Survival isn't reaction, it's calculation. 30 seconds of silence. The back door explodes open. A man stumbles through. Korean, expensive coat, bleeding from his ribs, hand pressed against the wound, breathing shallow and controlled, the breathing of someone trained to hide agony. His eyes lock onto hers, deep brown, almost black, heavy-lidded and intense, the kind of eyes that make you understand you've been seen.
I need.
He doesn't finish. His knees buckle. His body collapses to the kitchen floor like a man whose will and flesh have finally stopped negotiating. Nala stands there. 2 seconds. That's all she gives herself. 2 seconds where she could call the police. 2 seconds where she could protect herself. 2 seconds where she could choose the safe choice. She chooses differently.
Stay with me. Don't you dare die in my kitchen.
Welcome to Case Stories by Emma. Before we continue with this incredible story, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of these stories. Now, let's get to the story. 3 days later, Nala stands in her office at Ember and Ash, reviewing supplier invoices at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. The restaurant has closed, staff meeting and prep day. Her mind is elsewhere. The numbers on the page blur. Her hands keep moving, but her thoughts stay in that hospital room, in the sterile fluorescent light, watching a stranger breathe. A knock. "There's a woman here to see you," her hostess says. She says it's important. The woman waiting in the dining room is Korean. She wears a charcoal suit that costs more than Nala's monthly rent. Her posture, shoulders back, chin level, eyes moving across the space like she's cataloging exits, tells Nala this is a woman accustomed to commanding rooms. Nala knows the feeling. They sit across from each other in Nala's small office. The woman doesn't introduce herself. No pleasantries, no offer of coffee. "The man you brought to Columbus Medical Center," the woman begins, "his name is Lucas Hahn. He's alive because of you." Nala's chest tightens. "That creates complications," the woman continues. She leans forward slightly. "My name is Seo Kim Park. I've worked with Lucas for 15 years. We don't owe debts, but we also don't forget." Seo Kim's eyes sharpen. "What I need you to understand is this. We know about Andre Wallace." The name hits like a slap. "How?" Nala's voice comes out smaller than she intends. "We know everything," Seo Kim says. "Not with cruelty, with precision. The recording, the extortion, the payments you've made, the way he's been squeezing you for the past year. We know he has leverage, and we know he uses it." Nala feels exposed in a way that has nothing to do with the tape Andre made. Someone knows. Someone powerful knows. And that someone is connected to a bleeding stranger she saved 3 nights ago. Seo Kim doesn't look away. "Lucas didn't ask us to investigate you. But in our world, information is currency. We gathered it." "What does Lucas want?" Nala asks. "He's offering protection. In our world, that means Andre Wallace stops being a problem. He relocates, he disappears, or he simply ceases to exist in ways that matter." The weight of that sentence sits between them. "I'm not asking for your answer today. I'm asking you to understand that silence is a choice, but it's not your only choice." As Seo Kim stands to leave, she pauses at the office door. "Lucas told me not to come here. He said you'd find your own way." She turns back. "But I've watched men like him for 2 decades. I've never seen him look at someone the way he looked at you when you carried him into that hospital. Seo Kim's expression shifts, something almost vulnerable. That's not strategy, that's real. After Seo Kim leaves, Nala walks into her kitchen at 11 p.m. The flame burns beneath her hands, but for the first time, it feels like someone else is controlling the fire. Hi viewers, here's my question for you. Have you ever realized someone knew your secrets before you told them? How did that change everything? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. The call comes at 6:47 p.m. on Thursday. Nala knows the number before her phone even identifies it, the blocked caller ID, the rhythm of her own dread. She answers because refusing won't change what happens next. Andre's voice slides through the speaker like honey poured over broken glass. Hello, Nala. She doesn't greet him back. I need another 100,000, he says. No preamble, no performance, just the number hanging in the air like a noose by the end of the month. Nala's throat closes. This is the third demand. The first was 50,000, money she borrowed against her restaurant's future earnings, signing papers that promised she'd pay it back with interest that would cripple her for years. She paid it. Andre disappeared for 4 months. She let herself believe it was finished. Then he called again. The second demand was 100,000. Nala liquidated her retirement account. She drained the emergency fund her mother had helped her build. She sold her grandmother's jewelry, pieces that carried weight beyond money. She paid it. Again, Andre promised this was the last time. Again, he lied. Now he wants more. Or, Andre continues, his voice never rising, never breaking its calm control. The video goes everywhere. Your investors see it. Your family sees it. That young chef you mentor, she sees it. Everyone sees you the way I see you. He hangs up. Nala sits on the edge of her kitchen counter at midnight. Around her, the apartment is organized like a shrine to control. Her spices arranged by family, African, Mediterranean, Asian. Her knives aligned perfectly. Her life ordered so precisely that chaos couldn't find entry. None of it matters. If Andre releases that tape, order becomes irrelevant, precision becomes a joke, control becomes the one thing she loses completely. She understands something then, something she's been running from. This never ends. The payments continue. The threats escalate. Andre isn't extracting a fixed price. He's extracting her entire future, one demand at a time. He owns her compliance. He owns her silence. He owns every decision she makes from here forward. The realization feels both impossible and inevitable. That night, Nala's fingers move across her laptop keyboard. Lucas Hahn. She searches the name. What emerges is almost shocking. No scandals, no tabloid headlines, no photos of him with models or celebrities. His legitimate company, Han Choi Holdings, appears pristine, clean financials, legitimate real estate and logistics operations, the surface of a normal, powerful man. But if you look deeper, read between the articles and corporate reports, there are whispers, references to family connections, mentions of regional operations, the kind of power that doesn't need visibility because it's already everywhere. Nala closes the browser. She doesn't want to know more. Friday evening, her phone buzzes. An unfamiliar number. A text. Hello, this is Lucas Hahn. I'm being released from the hospital tomorrow. I'd like to say thank you properly. Saturday morning, there's a coffee place in Itaewon, short north. 9 a.m. You can say no. She reads it 7 times. For 2 days, she doesn't respond. Then morning arrives and her fingers move without permission. Okay. Nala arrives at the coffee shop 5 minutes late. It's deliberate strategy. Lateness shifts power. She controls the moment, not him. She controls whether this meeting happens on his terms or hers. Lucas sits at a corner table facing the entrance. Of course he does. His dark jeans, charcoal sweater, and navy jacket fit him like armor. Simple but expensive. His movements carry weight. He breathes carefully, favoring his left side where the bandaging hides beneath layers of fabric. A man healing, a man aware of his own fragility. When their eyes meet, Lucas freezes. For 3 seconds, he doesn't move, doesn't blink, doesn't do anything except see her. Then he stands. Thank you, he says, for saving my life. Nala sits across from him. The coffee between them steams with a life all its own. You're welcome, she responds, clean, transactional. That's not what I mean, Lucas says, and there's something in his voice that cracks the surface of politeness. You didn't have to act. You didn't have to drive me to the hospital. You didn't have to stay. Someone needed help, Nala says. I helped. That's not normal, Lucas says quietly. In my world, people calculate first. They ask questions. They protect themselves. You didn't do any of that. You just acted. Nala doesn't answer immediately. She watches him watch her. Not predatory, more like the way someone watches fire, with complete attention, understanding that danger and beauty are sometimes the same thing. I want to understand why, Lucas continues. For the first time, Nala lets herself really look at him, not of the sharp cheekbones or the controlled intensity or the way power radiates from his skin like heat, but at him. The way his hands hold his coffee cup like he's not sure he deserves warmth. The way his eyes, when they're not controlled, carry exhaustion. The way loneliness lives in him like a permanent address. She recognizes something in him. He recognizes something in her. I grew up believing that control meant isolation, that asking for help was weakness, that the only person you could trust was yourself. She pauses. Her breath steadies. When I saw you bleeding in my kitchen, I stopped thinking. I just moved. And now? Asks Lucas. Now I'm realizing that isolation was safety, and safety might be its own kind of prison. Lucas nods. Understanding settles between them. C.O. Kim told you about Andre, he says. Yes. I didn't ask her to. I know. If you want, Lucas says carefully, it ends. He disappears. The threat disappears. That's what my world offers. Nala feels the weight of that sentence, the power, the cost, the blood that would probably follow. I don't want that, she says. Then what do you want? I want... Nala pauses. She's not entirely sure. I want to be the one who decides what happens. Not Andre, not you, me. Lucas nods slowly. That's harder. I know. But it matters, he says. That matters. As they leave the coffee shop, Lucas reaches for the door handle. Their hands nearly collide. Both pull back instantly. The space between their fingers charges like electricity. Same time next week? He asks. Yes, she says. Walking home, Nala's hands shake, not from fear, from something far more dangerous, from the beginning of a choice. That night, Nala's phone buzzes. Andre. Not a call this time. A video file, unnamed. The preview image shows her face, vulnerable, intimate, unguarded. Attached text reads, "Remember this? Because everyone else is about to." 3 weeks pass in Saturday mornings. Each time, Lucas sits at the same corner table. Each time, Nala arrives 5 minutes late. The routine becomes their language. Lucas talks less about his empire and more about the man he was before power consumed him. He speaks about his mother and soul, about wanting to become a doctor before family obligation rerouted his entire life. Nala tells him about Ghana, about her grandmother's kitchen, about learning that control isn't domination, but understanding. They are building something. Then Andre calls on a Wednesday. His voice is different. The smoothness is fractured. Underneath is desperation wearing a thin mask. I know about the Korean man, Andre says. No greeting, no preamble. Lucas Han. That's a mistake, Nala. Nala doesn't respond. He's dangerous, Andre continues. Not like me. I want money. He wants... Andre pauses. His breathing is audible. He wants something I can't give back. That makes him worse. Why are you calling? Nala asks. To give you one final chance to end this cleanly, Andre says. $250,000, I disappear, you get your life back. Your family never sees the tape. Your investors never see it. Your business survives. Nala has heard versions of this before. The numbers change. The threats remain identical. No, she says. Then I release it tomorrow, Andre says. His voice hardens. Every platform. Your investors see it. Your family sees it. That young chef you mentor, the one you've been training, she sees it. The specificity cuts deeper than before. He's not threatening her. He's threatening the people she loves. He's weaponizing her care against her. Something inside Nala calcifies. When she hangs up, she understands something she's been avoiding. Shame only has power if you consent to it. Andre owns the tape. Andre owns the threat. But Andre doesn't own her decision about what happens next. That night, she finds the best lawyer in Columbus. Dr. Keisha Williams operates from a downtown office. She's black, brilliant, and furious on Nala's behalf before Nala finishes her first sentence. "This is a felony," Keisha says. "Recording without consent, extortion, distribution of intimate content, everything he's done is prosecutable." "If I pursue this," Nala says carefully, "the tape becomes evidence in court." "Yes," Keisha says, "but with legal context, with framework. Right now, Andre controls the narrative. The legal system seizes it." "My reputation will be destroyed," Nala says. Reputation built on silence breaks easily. Reputation built on truth survives. That night, Nala texts Lucas, "I need to tell you something." They meet at Ember and Ash after closing. The kitchen belongs to them alone. Nala stands near the flame, the only element in her life that has never lied to her. "I'm going to the police," she says, "Monday morning. I'm giving them everything, the recordings, the payments, all of it." Lucas processes this without moving. "Are you sure?" he asks. "No," Nala says, "but I'm certain." He understands the difference. "When do you want to do this?" Lucas asks. "Monday." Lucas reaches for her hand. Their fingers meet tentatively, like two people speaking a language neither has mastered. "I'm terrified," Nala says. "I know," Lucas says. "That's how you know it matters." Behind them, the flame burns steady and true. The Columbus Police Department's downtown precinct smells like institutional coffee and fluorescent efficiency. Detective Simone Morris sits across from Nala, a woman built for facts. Middle-aged, sharp-eyed, with the posture of someone who has heard thousands of stories and knows immediately which ones matter. She doesn't offer sympathy. She offers her attention. The interview consumes 3 hours. Nala reconstructs every moment with Andre. The first demand, the second, the third, every threatening voicemail preserved as evidence, every bank transfer documented, every text message where desperation masked itself as control. The hardest part isn't describing the extortion, it's describing the tape itself. Not the intimacy captured, but the violation, the moment she realized it existed. The realization that vulnerability, once recorded, becomes a weapon. That Andre didn't just betray her trust, he weaponized her body against her. Detective Morris writes everything down with mechanical precision. "This is a pattern," Morris says, not looking up from her notes. "Not unique, systematic." "There are others?" Nala asks. "We'll investigate that," Morris says. "First, we establish your case." Morris explains what comes next. The formal complaint, the warrants, the arrest. She explains that Andre will likely have an attorney, that he'll probably argue for bail, that Nala will see him again in court. "You'll have to testify," Morris says. "Describe everything in front of witnesses. His attorney will try to discredit you." Nala nods. She understands. Walking out of the police station, Nala carries 2 contradictory feelings simultaneously. Lighter, because the secret has been exposed. No more hiding, no more shame living inside her body like a parasite. Heavier, because now she's public. Now she's the woman in the case. Dr. Williams squeezes her shoulder. "You did the right thing," Keisha says. "The right thing doesn't feel like victory," Nala responds. "It won't. Not yet." That night, Nala calls her mother. Ama Amoa answers on the second ring. Nala can hear her at the stove, the sound of cooking, the rhythm of her world. "I need to tell you something, and I need you to listen without trying to fix it." She tells her mother everything. The tape, Andre, the extortion, the escalating demands, the arrest happening now. Silence hangs on the other end. "I should have taught you to be more careful," Amma finally says. "You did teach me to be careful. You taught me that showing vulnerability was weakness, that asking for help was failure. That's why I didn't tell you." More silence. Then, "If I could change anything, it wouldn't be what happened. It would be that you felt like you had to hide it." The next morning, Detective Morris calls. "He's been arrested," Morris says. "Andre Wallace. We're processing the charges now." Nala hangs up and feels her body shift. Not relief. Not yet. Freedom mixed with terror. Safety mixed with the knowledge that this has just begun. That evening, Lucas appears at Ember and Ash without being summoned. "I heard," he says simply. "I don't know what I feel," Nala says. Lucas reaches for her, not as a rescuer, but as someone willing to stand in uncertainty with her. "That's okay. We'll figure it out together." The headline runs across local news stations. Columbus real estate developer arrested on felony extortion and coercion charges. The story mentions the intimate video clinically as recorded content. It mentions Nala only as a local business owner. But in Columbus, especially in the culinary world, everyone knows exactly who that business owner is. Within 48 hours, Nala's phone becomes an instrument of constant reckoning. Colleagues from the culinary scene call asking indirect questions. Investors call demanding reassurance that the scandal won't damage Ember and Ash. Friends call wanting confirmation of rumors they've already heard. Nala decides something crucial. She will not hide. Each call, each conversation, she gives the same response. Not dramatic, not emotional, just facts, delivered with the precision she uses in her kitchen. "I was recorded without consent. I was extorted repeatedly. I reported it to police. The legal process is underway." Some people rally. They show up. They amplify her story. They understand. Others retreat into silence. People she trusted suddenly become unavailable. People she considered friends stop answering texts. The isolation that follows judgment cuts deeper than the judgment itself. One evening, a young woman approaches Nala at Ember and Ash. She's maybe 25, nervous, her napkin shredded from fidgeting. She asks if she can speak privately. "I wanted to thank you," the young woman says, "for speaking up. I was in a situation, not exactly like yours, but similar. I've been so ashamed. Seeing you choose visibility, it made me feel less alone." Nala understands something in that moment. Her exposure has become visibility for others. The cost is real, but the benefit is equally real. The legal process grinds forward, slower than expected. Andre's attorney files motions immediately. The defense strategy becomes clear. Andre's attorney argues that Nala consented to the recordings, that the payments were negotiated financial arrangements between former partners, that the extortion is actually a bitter woman trying to destroy a man after a failed relationship. It's a lie wrapped in legal language. Dr. Williams prepares Nala for depositions. "They'll call you bitter. They'll claim you're exaggerating. They'll attack your credibility." "How do I survive that?" asks Nala. Simple truth, specific facts, no emotion. 2 weeks into the investigation, Detective Morris calls with unexpected news. "We found another woman," Morris says. "Andre used the same pattern with her. She didn't pay, but she was threatened. There's possibly a third victim." Nala's case transforms in that moment. It's no longer personal. It's a pattern. It's systematic predation. Andre isn't a desperate man. He's a calculated predator. That night, Nala cooks in her kitchen with Lucas watching. The flame burns beneath her pan, steady and demanding. "There are other women," Nala says quietly. "He did this to other women." Lucas understands what that means. Her guilt shifts. She's no longer carrying victimization alone, but she's also no longer able to frame this as personal betrayal. It was calculated exploitation. "What does that change?" asks Lucas. "I don't know yet, but it changes something." She adjusts the heat. The flame climbs higher, more aggressive, more honest. The next morning, Nala's phone buzzes with a news alert. Second woman comes forward in the Andre Wallace case. Third victim identified. But there's another notification underneath. A social media post from someone claiming to be Andre's friend. She's only doing this for attention. This isn't victimization, this is revenge. Within an hour, the post has 5,000 shares. The narrative is shifting, and Nala's not the one controlling it anymore. 3 months after Andre's arrest, the case moves through preliminary hearings like clockwork. Nala has given her statement to prosecutors. She's been through depositions. The video sits in legal custody now, sealed, preserved as evidence, existing in the official record. She has been seen, not just by Lucas or Dr. Williams or Detective Morris, by the entire legal system, publicly, irrevocably. At an industry event in Columbus, a former culinary school classmate approaches Nala. The woman smiles. The smile has an edge. I saw the news, she says. Crazy situation. Are you handling it okay? The question sounds like concern, but underneath is something else. Curiosity about scandal, the hunger to know intimate details, judgment disguised as sympathy. Nala recognizes the tone. She's heard it before, the supportive question that really asks, how did you let this happen? That night, alone in Ember and Ash, Nala sits in her empty dining room. She allows herself to feel what she's been avoiding, the full weight of being publicly visible. She's no longer Nala Clark, a chef. She's the woman in the tape. She's the woman who was blackmailed. She's the woman who should have been more careful, according to people who think careful means remaining silent forever. The shame she thought she'd overcome hasn't disappeared, it's transformed. It's no longer about the tape itself, it's about the tape becoming part of her permanent public identity. It's about the way her vulnerability, once private, is now legal evidence discussed in courtrooms. She's become her own case study. The discovery process reveals Andre's defense strategy in brutal clarity. He's going to argue that Nala's success, her visibility, her reputation, gives her motive to fabricate the extortion claims. He's going to suggest she wanted attention, that she manufactured victimization to boost her brand. It's despicable. It's also a tactic that works. Dr. Williams prepares her. The deposition will be brutal. They'll question every memory. They'll suggest you're lying. How do I prove I'm not? Nala asks. You prove facts. Character is their problem, not yours. During the deposition, Andre's attorney makes a decision that will destroy his case. He displays the video. Not to shock her, as evidence of her supposed awareness. He wants her to admit that her body language suggests she knew she was being recorded, that she consented. Nala watches herself on screen, her younger self, vulnerable, open, believing in trust. She doesn't shatter. She doesn't look away. Instead, she turns to the attorney and speaks with absolute clarity. I was unaware I was being recorded. Every emotion in that moment, the trust, the openness, the love, was built on deception. That's the only fact that matters. The deposition room goes silent. Afterward, Dr. Williams embraces her. That was perfect, Keisha says. That's what a jury needs to see, a woman who knows her own truth. But Nala feels no triumph, only exhaustion. That night, Lucas finds her in her kitchen. She lets him hold her without words. The flame burns beside them, indifferent to human suffering, simply present. The next morning, a video appears online. It's a clip from the deposition. Andre's attorney cut it, edited it, released it. But it's out of context. It looks like Nala is defending herself against accusations. It looks aggressive. It looks like she's attacking Andre's attorney. Within hours, it has 200,000 views. The comments section is already turning against her. What happens when the truth gets weaponized into lies? 6 months after Andre's arrest, the legal process moves with the pace of institutional machinery. Slow, methodical, exhausting. Nala has learned to exist in the space between privacy and exposure, between shame and defiance. She moves through her restaurant, through depositions, through the constant weight of being watched. And through it all, Lucas remains at the edge of her life, present without demanding, protective without controlling. One evening, Lucas asks her something unexpected. Cook with me, he says. Not a request, an invitation. They prepare dinner together in Ember and Ash after closing. No staff, no audience, just the two of them, the kitchen, and the unspoken understanding that they're building something that exists only in this space. Lucas watches the way Nala moves, the precision, the fluidity, the way her body knows exactly what it needs to do. Tell me about Ghana, he says. Nala pauses. No one has asked her that. They've asked about her restaurant's success, about the scandal, about the legal case, but not about where she came from. She tells him about her grandmother's kitchen, about learning to cook not as culinary skill, but as a language of care, about the lesson that changed everything. Control comes from understanding the element, not fighting it. Fire? Lucas asks. Life, Nala says. Heat, desire, passion, all the things that destroy you if you resist them, or transform you if you understand them. Lucas is quiet for a moment. Then, I've spent my entire life fighting, never understanding. They cook together. Lucas burns something, they laugh. Not the careful, measured laughter of people afraid to show cracks, real laughter. The kind that arrives unexpectedly and reminds you that joy still exists. Later, they sit in the dining room, the kitchen dark behind them, the food cooling between them. "I need to tell you something," Lucas says, "about my world, about what I do, about the people I've hurt." He doesn't detail his operations or his decisions. He's not seeking absolution. He's asking her to understand that he's not the man she saved in the hospital. He's complicated. He's done things. He carries weight. "I know," Nala says. "And you're still here?" Lucas says. "I'm still here because you sit with me while I figure out who I am. You don't try to save me. You just exist with me." The evening builds towards something neither of them names. A hand placed near a hand, eyes that linger, the slow accumulation of proximity. Lucas reaches for her face slowly, giving her every opportunity to refuse. She doesn't. Their foreheads touch, breathing synchronizes. "Is this something you want? Not as protection, just us." "Yes," she breathes. What follows is careful, exploratory. Hands moving across shoulders, backs, arms, skin revealed with intention, not haste. Skin revealed, the moment where vulnerability and desire collapse into the same thing. Afterward, in the morning light filtering through the restaurant windows, Nala wakes with her head on Lucas's chest, his arm encircling her. The world outside remains asleep. She doesn't move. For the first time, she allows herself to imagine a future where this is ordinary, where she and Lucas exist as simply two people in love, not characters in someone else's tragedy. 3 days later, Nala's phone rings. It's Detective Morris. "We have a trial date. Andre Wallace. 6 weeks from now. You'll need to testify." Nala's stomach drops. The real reckoning is about to begin. 8 months after Andre's arrest, the courtroom in downtown Columbus fills with the weight of judgment. Nala sits at the prosecutor's table. Her mother occupies the front row gallery bench. Dr. Williams sits beside Amma, steady and present. Lucas sits in the back, as instructed by prosecutors. Romantic partners can bias juries, so he maintains distance, watching from the margins. The trial consumes 4 days. The prosecution builds its case with institutional precision, bank records documenting every payment Nala made under duress, voicemail recordings played aloud, Andre's voice filling the courtroom, calm and threatening in equal measure, expert testimony about the psychological impact of non-consensual recording, Nala's own testimony, measured, specific, stripped of emotion. Andre's defense attorney attacks relentlessly. He questions her memory. He suggests she consented and later regretted it. He implies her success gives her motive to fabricate. He tries to make her seem unreliable, exaggerating, bitter. Nala doesn't argue with him. She doesn't defend herself emotionally. She simply repeats the facts. Each question, each accusation met with the same calm response, the truth stated clearly. By the 4th day, his attacks sound hollow. Everyone in the courtroom feels it. The jury deliberates for 6 hours. When they return, the forewoman stands and reads the verdict with the formality that only courtrooms demand. Guilty on all counts: extortion, coercion, distribution of intimate content without consent. 3 guilty verdicts. Nala feels her mother's hand grip hers. But there's no celebration in the moment, no triumph, just resolution. The thing you feel when a burden finally gets set down. A month later, at sentencing, Andre Wallace receives 4 years in state prison. The judge orders him to register as a sex offender and complete a psychological evaluation. It's not the kind of justice that feels cinematic. It's institutional, legal, real. Dr. Williams explains the significance afterward. 4 years is solid. The registration is permanent. This is real consequence. But Nala's mind moves elsewhere. The legal system can imprison Andre. It cannot erase the tape. It cannot undo the recording. It cannot make the violation unhappen. It cannot restore the privacy that was stolen. 2 days after sentencing, Detective Morris calls. 2 other women came forward, Morris says. They were threatened by Andre using the same pattern, were reopening their cases. Your testimony was critical in establishing the predatory pattern. Nala understands something crucial in that moment. Her case was never isolated. It was part of a system. Andre wasn't a desperate man. He was a calculated predator. That evening, Nala stands in her kitchen with Lucas watching from the bar. The flame burns beneath her hands, steady and demanding. "It's finished," Nala says. "Is it?" Lucas asks gently. Nala considers this. The legal case is concluded. Andre is in prison, the tape sits in evidence storage, the verdict is rendered. But her relationship to what happened, that's not finished. Not finished, she corrects, moving into a different chapter. She adjusts the heat. The flame responds, climbing higher, more honest. 3 weeks later, Nala receives a call from a national news network. "We're running a feature, intimate content without consent. Your case is," she pauses carefully, "nationally significant. We'd like your story." Nala's stomach tightens. She's about to become much more visible. What happens when Nala's story goes national? 1 year after Andre's arrest, Nala makes a deliberate choice. She closes Ember and Ash for 2 weeks without explanation. Her staff assumes burnout. They're partially correct, but the real reason is more intentional. Nala is reclaiming the space that became a courtroom, a crime scene, a symbol of violation. She renovates, not dramatically, not as erasure, but as marking. The walls receive deeper, richer paint colors. The kitchen layout shifts slightly. Nothing that destroys function, everything that changes perspective. New lighting transforms how the flame appears when it burns. She's not erasing the past. She's drawing a boundary between what happened and what comes next. On reopening night, Nala stands alone in her dining room, surveying what she's built. Her mother arrives early. "It's beautiful," Amma says. "It's mine," Nala responds. The distinction carries weight. Opening night brings the community. People who supported her openly, people who supported her quietly, people who were uncertain but came anyway. The dining room fills with voices, laughter, the sound of people choosing to be present. A young woman approaches Nala's station. She's maybe 24, nervous, her words coming out carefully. "I'm sorry to interrupt," the woman says. "I wanted to thank you. I was in a situation, not identical to yours, but similar. I stayed silent because shame felt like protection, but watching what you did, how you chose yourself, it changed how I see my own situation." Nala understands something crucial. Her visibility, which extracted a cost, has become visibility for others. Her choice to speak has given permission to others to speak. But the judgment doesn't evaporate. Some people still define her as the woman in the tape. Some view her success as tainted by scandal. Her original investors maintain distance. One chef she once mentored gave an interview suggesting Nala's culinary reputation benefited from sympathy, not skill alone. The judgment transforms rather than disappears. One evening, a critic from the Columbus Dispatch arrives. Nala prepares herself for either redemption or damage. The review will either celebrate her comeback or weaponize her scandal. Those are the only two options she expects. The review arrives a week later. It's neither. Ember and Ash represents culinary artistry at its finest. Chef Clark has created a menu speaking to both precision and passion. Her food requires no context to be exceptional. It simply is. The critic doesn't mention the scandal, doesn't reference her case, treats her as a chef, not as a symbol or a victim or a redemption narrative. She's simply evaluated on the merit of her work. That night, Nala sits with Lucas in her restaurant. "It's starting to feel normal," she says. "What is?" Lucas asks. "Being myself, not Nala the victim, not Nala the survivor, just Nala the chef who built something good." Lucas takes her hand. "That's what you always were." "But now I know it," Nala says. She looks around her restaurant, the space that contains all of it, the violation, the choice, the legal system, the judgment, the rebuilding. Everything exists here. And so does she, standing in the center of it all, no longer defined by any single part. 18 months after Andre's conviction, opportunity arrives in the form of a phone call. A real estate developer, someone entirely different from Andre, someone whose reputation is clean, wants to fund a second location of Ember and Ash. The terms are generous, the support is genuine, the opportunity is real. But accepting means partnership. It means surrendering control. Nala brings the offer to Lucas. "I can help with financing," Lucas says. "I have contacts, resources. We could structure this so you maintain creative control." "I don't want that," Nala interrupts gently. "I don't want your money. I need to know I can do this myself." Lucas goes quiet. "Do you understand what I'm saying?" Nala asks. "Because what I'm really telling you is, I need to know I don't need you." Not because I don't want you, but because I need to choose you, not because I have no other option. Lucas nods slowly. He understands. He steps back. Nala pursues the expansion alone. She reviews contracts with Dr. Williams. She develops detailed business plans. She meets with potential investors, pitching her vision with the same precision she uses in her kitchen. During one pitch, an investor leans forward and says, "The scandal narrative actually adds interest to your brand. It humanizes you. We could really lean into the comeback story." Nala stands up and walks out. She will not package her trauma as a marketing strategy. She will not weaponize her violation for capital. Finding financing without leveraging Lucas's power or her own scandal proves brutal. 2 investors reject her. The feedback stings. Your culinary vision is solid, but without celebrity backing or well-known brand, the financial risk is significant. Nala realizes something harsh. Being evaluated as merely a chef without the scandal narrative to create intrigue is harder than being celebrated as a victim turned survivor. She has to prove herself repeatedly, not once, multiple times over. The exhaustion is real. Then Jasmine Rodriguez contacts her. Jasmine is a restaurateur who built her business after facing her own obstacles, her own barriers. She knows the cost of claiming your own narrative. "I want to partner with you," Jasmine says, "not as a financial arrangement, 50-50 partnership, 2 women building something together." It's not what Nala expected. It's something better. Collaboration with someone who understands the actual price of survival. Together, they secure financing. Together, they identify a location in Columbus's Franklinton district, an emerging neighborhood that needs exactly what they're building. The day Nala signs the papers for the second location, she calls Lucas. "I did it," she says. "I have a partner, a restaurant, a plan." "I know," Lucas says. "I'm proud of you." The pride in his voice carries specific weight. He's not proud of her as his woman, or his responsibility, or his redemption project. He's proud of her as a person, as someone who chose herself and built something from that choice. Just proud. 1 week later, Nala attends a culinary industry event in Cincinnati. A woman approaches her, someone Nala doesn't recognize. She's older, composed, with the presence of someone accustomed to commanding rooms. "Chef Clark, my name is Eleanor Chen. I was one of Andre's victims, years before you. I never reported it." Nala's breath catches. "I want to start a foundation," Eleanor continues, "for women in hospitality who've experienced similar violations. I want you to lead it with me." Nala's story is about to expand beyond her own survival. 2 years after Andre's conviction, Nala is 30 years old. The second Ember and Ash location thrives in Franklinton. She and Jasmine are already planning a third. She's transformed from chef to restaurateur, mentor, architect of something that will outlive her. She's different now, not because trauma changed her, but because she chose how to be changed by it. One evening, at the original location, a young woman approaches after service. She's nervous, carrying weight, struggling to find words. "I'm sorry to interrupt," the woman says, "but I'm in a situation. It's not exactly like yours, but I'm being controlled through shame, and I don't know what to do." Nala doesn't offer prescriptive advice. She doesn't tell the woman what decision to make. Instead, she tells her own story, not the victimized version, the version where she chose. "It will be terrifying," Nala says. "You'll feel like you're breaking apart, but you'll be surprised by what you can survive. You'll be shocked by your own strength." After the woman leaves, Nala understands something essential. She's no longer defined by what happened. She's defined by what she learned. Her story isn't scandal anymore. It's wisdom. It's knowledge forged through fire. But unresolved elements remain. Andre appeals his conviction. His attorney argues a technicality, a procedural error in evidence handling that could warrant a new trial. The possibility exists, small but real, that he could be released. Detective Morris calls. There's a hearing. Your presence might matter. Nala attends. She sits in the courtroom and watches Andre argue for freedom. He's diminished by prison years, smaller than she remembers. The judge listens carefully, considers the arguments, then denies the appeal. Andre remains incarcerated. But the fight isn't finished. The reminder stays with her. That night, Nala cooks with Lucas. They've been together 3 years now. The relationship has evolved beyond rescue narratives into something real: partnership, choice, daily commitment. They move through the kitchen with the synchronization of people who've learned to exist in the same space without losing themselves. "I'm thinking about stepping back from my family's business," Lucas says while they work. Nala looks at him. "Not because of you," Lucas clarifies, "because of what I learned from you about choosing yourself. I want to build something that's actually mine, not inherited." It's not dramatic. He's not abandoning everything, but he's reclaiming agency. He's choosing who he wants to be instead of accepting who his family designed. They're both reclaiming agency. In the kitchen, surrounded by elements she's learned to understand, Nala feels something settle inside her. The fire burns steady. Lucas stands beside her. The world continues turning. There's no cinematic resolution, no perfect ending where everything ties together neatly. Just life, moving forward, claimed by the people who lived it. 3 weeks later, Nala receives an official letter. The Foundation for Hospitality Workers' Safety has been established. Eleanor Chen is the founder. Nala has been named executive director, but the letter also contains something else: a contract from a major publishing house. Your memoir, Raise Your Hand at Her Again. They want your story, the full story, on the page. Nala stares at the contract for a long time. She's about to turn her life into a book, her pain into pages, her survival into something millions could read. 3 years after Andre's conviction, Nala opens Amma's house in Cincinnati. She's 31 years old. This third location means something different than the others. It's not just a restaurant, it's a mentorship space dedicated to her grandmother and her mother. A place where young chefs from marginalized communities can learn not just cooking, but how to reclaim their own narratives. Opening night transcends service. It's a celebration of survival, a recognition of everyone who held her through the hardest season. Dr. Williams is there. Detective Morris is there. Jasmine stands beside her, business partner and close friend. Her mother Amma occupies the dining room, watching her daughter command a kitchen bearing her name. Lucas moves through the space, not as her savior, but as her equal. During service, an older woman approaches. She's in her 60s, composed, carrying decades of weight. She introduces herself as Eleanor Chen. "I was victimized by Andre," Eleanor says, "years before you. I never reported it. I let fear decide for me." Eleanor pauses, her voice steady. "Watching you choose differently, it's been healing for me. Thank you." Nala understands something crucial. Her visibility changed more than her own life. It transformed how other women relate to their own silences. That's a different kind of power. But healing isn't linear. Shame still surfaces in unexpected moments. Nala still knows the tape exists. She still wonders about alternate paths. The difference is, she no longer allows those moments to define her. She moves through them and continues. A national food critic attends the opening. Nala assumes the article will either celebrate her comeback or weaponize her scandal. Instead, it does neither. The review centers on her food, her business model, her mentorship philosophy. The scandal receives one contextual sentence. Clark's journey from victimization to entrepreneurship informs her mentorship approach, but her restaurants stand on culinary excellence, not sympathy. Nala reads these words and feels something shift. She's no longer defined by what happened to her. She's defined by what she's built. In Amma's house kitchen, there's a rooftop garden visible through a specific window. Nala tends plants there, herbs from Ghana, seeds from her grandmother's kitchen, living connections to where she came from. The flame in her kitchen burns steady and transformative, carrying no metaphorical weight anymore, just mastery, understanding, presence. Opening service arrives. Lucas enters the kitchen, not to direct or protect, but to work beside her. They move through service together, different roles, synchronized rhythm. Later, when the kitchen is clean and the last customer has departed, they stand in Amma's house, surrounded by Nala's vision made physical. "Proud?" Lucas asks. Terrified, but yes, proud. Months later, before dawn in her original Ember and Ash, Nala prepares alone. The kitchen is hers. The sun rises. She moves with the precision of someone who earned the right to command fire. Her hands are steady. Her mind is present. There's no dramatic moment, no symbolic gesture, Just a woman doing what she loves in the space she built on her own terms. The flame burns, the food takes shape, the restaurant will fill with people who know her story and people who know her only as a chef. Either way, she is not defined by their knowing. She is defined by her knowing.
This story reminds us that visibility has a cost. Silence has a cost too. One is public, one is internal. Both steal something from you. Nala Clark could have hidden, could have paid Andre repeatedly, could have let fear write her story. Instead, she chose herself. Not once, not heroically, but repeatedly, every single day in small and large ways. If you've ever hidden something because you were afraid of judgment, this is for you. If you've ever felt like your value was tied to your silence, you're not alone. If you've ever wondered whether it's worth speaking your truth, watch what happened when Nala chose honesty over safety. How did this story make you feel? Have you ever had to choose between your comfort and your truth? Have you ever had to reclaim something that was taken from you without permission? Share your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one, and we truly want to know what's in your hearts. If this story touched you, please like it, share it with someone who needs to hear that they're not alone, and subscribe to our channel. We have more stories about courage, resilience, and what it means to choose yourself, even when it costs everything. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. We sincerely appreciate you. Wishing everyone watching abundant health, a joyful life, and the quiet certainty that comes from knowing you chose yourself. See you in the next one.